but there's nobody else that can father your children.
Yes. Yeah.
That is just you.
Yes.
And being intentional about it. Kind of a scary thought, thinking you only have 18 summers with your kids. What's dad doing? How is he treating other people? Is he reading the word, exercising God first, family, loving those around us? And then it's my work.
What is a man?
One word. One word. That's a difficult one.
Welcome everyone to this episode, the first episode of Redcub's podcast. We're sitting here with Ryk Eksteen. Ryk, nice being here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, man, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a long time. Cheers.
Finishing my rusk. Catching me off guard here. So life's happened. Life's past, 3 years, got 3 kids. Our little girl just turned 3, so that's kind of like a period that we saw you was just before she was born, I think. Mm-hmm. Things have grown.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Not just the kids, but I think us as a family,
yes.
Me as a dad.
Your studio's name is Redcub, right?
Yeah, so, Redcub Studio, like the bow.
Like the bow.
I enjoyed archery. We both know a great man called Johnny Sneeman. Mm-hmm. He, back in the day when I was, I think I was around 14, 15, my dad came home with a bow that Johnny made. It was a peregrine, very light recurve bow. When I was thinking of a business name, I really enjoyed the nature side of things, the masculinity of hunting and so on. Ultimately chose the name because it kind of showed precision. And at the time I was like, this is, you're aiming, but still there's a roughness about it. But it's still very
That's cool.
Impactful. Yeah.
So it's so fitting. I mean, we were talking about your journey now and what you feel that God wants you to do. Mm. So is that name also going to tie into everything? Same with Redcub.
Yeah.
When I chose the name, I wasn't exactly sure where it was going, and it's like it's being revealed as I'm going. Do you find
kind
the
of
same?
Creating a mission statement and a values as you go along.
As you go,
it grows.
Yeah.
Like I think a business grows. Mm-hmm. This is kind of a brand very close to my heart. I do think there's a lot of brands you create with the intent of growing it and selling it one day. But this is almost like a family motto, taking it from here, creating sub-businesses under it. I created Recurve Tactical under it as well, which is my Airsoft brand. So all of it is kind of falling under this. It's kind of the passion projects, not so much the big business ideas.
Okay. As we were speaking, there's a similar journey going on where we feel like what we want to do with our families, we also want to incorporate that into business. That's what you're saying. Is because with me, it's like I want to teach martial arts in our garage. I haven't shared this with you.
Oh, wow.
So because that's where I come from.
What line of martial arts?
Well, previously I did Kung Fu.
Okay.
Right, that's what I did. But I think I'll go more to kickboxing or something like that. Yeah. Just boxing.
Nice.
But so that's like the one side. But then also filming.
Yeah,
gardening, and you want to create little businesses that comes from this idea of fatherhood, masculinity, So that's fascinating. You have the same sort of thing.
Very similar.
When we were around each other, sitting in the same studio, working, learning animation and videography and all this, I wasn't quite sure where you were at in terms of Christianity. Yeah. Were you a believer? Were you finding yourself? Where are you now and what happened? What changed? Like, did you have a spiritual awakening, a moment, or what happened there?
I grew up in a very religious house, growing up in the NG Church, which had many strengths, very much foundational, must read the Bible, must pray. And having that as a foundation was great, but it was missing that intimate relationship with the Lord. So it was kind of almost a routine thing, because I saw my dad praying, which, thinking back now as a son, seeing that helps a lot. Yeah. Knowing my mom was praying for me many years later, going through a lot of stupid things that I did, a lot of mistakes. Yeah. I looked back and realized how much worse it could have been. Yeah. And then the Lord just reminds me, your mom was praying. She was on her knees for you the whole time. Yeah. Going back, didn't have that intimate relationship with the Lord. Even though going through high school, I had those moments of meeting the Lord. But I would meet him would be on fire for 2 months or something and backslide and start falling into things that I shouldn't.
Like a event or something?
Yeah. We at our school we had some awesome like preachers that came, and then we would have like a week of like worship. It would be like preaching, and I can even think back now where there were super like emotional, like really strong messages that came through. Yeah. But again, it never stuck.
Yeah.
Leaving school, I kind of really backslid, but still felt like I knew the Lord was there.
Yeah.
He was there. I just didn't have that intimate relationship with Him.
Yes.
I went over to Kenya for a few months doing farm management there. Weird things started happening, miraculous things happening where I would pray and it would come. Little things like I needed airtime. It's weird.
Yes.
And then farmer's wife comes and just like hands me airtime. Like I didn't ask for this or anything. Nothing. A lot of those kind of things, to a point where I messaged my brother saying, hey, something really weird is happening. Like I'm like, but it wasn't like praying. It was like a kind of an internal conversation with the Lord, kind of like just like a calmness and just speaking to Him, and these things would happen. And it was like, whoa. Yes. To a part where it was like freaking me out in a way. And again, still, I knew the Lord was there, but I only really started getting to know Him once I got into a relationship with Tess. With our relationship, she was kind of the more spiritual one. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, the word says that, the husband, the man of the house, he's the head. Mm-hmm. And he should be, the preacher, the prophet, the teacher in the house. And there I fell short. And I felt very convicted that, Tess has to carry the family in prayer, that Tess needs to read the Bible or have an intimate relationship with the Lord for the family, that she needs to stand in the gap for the family. And it took me a while to take up that mantle.
What was the emotional sort of experience that you were going through regarding that? Why wasn't it just easy to, I must do this and just do it? What was blocking you really?
Yeah, I think it was that kind of scary thought of, I don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
I have all this knowledge and background of the word, but practically no idea where to start. And it almost felt, if I just do this now, it almost felt ingenuine or fake. Mm-hmm. I felt that shame because my wife needed me to step up.
Yes.
And so I started surrounding myself with other biblical men, godly men, seeing how they do things, seeing how they pray, seeing how they read the word. I got kind of stuck into it. I just started reading the Gospels again, Derek Prince videos, and finally started to just pray with my wife. Mm-hmm. And when that started happening, I could feel a shift in the house as well.
Yes.
There was a lot more joy, a lot less resentment.
Sure. And how long ago is that?
So I got baptized for the first time, 2023.
That's after you left Tweede,
the
Langkloof. Yeah.
After leaving, we left Tweede in 2019. Yeah. Moved here in April 2019, and COVID happened. Our church here in Sedgefield that we were part of, an awesome church called SEC, Sedgefield Christian Church, part of their community. Mm-hmm. But we felt the Lord calling us somewhere else. And then COVID happened. All the churches closed, except this church in George. They're like, well, cool. We're not doing church.
Let's be sick together.
We're not doing church. Hush, hush. And so we okay, we need a body. Mm-hmm. We're going through this transitional phase where I need to learn how to be the man of the house. We are kind of related to the church because Tessa's sister is married to the pastor's son. So we kind of got connected to the church through them. And wow, what a journey and seeing miracles happen. And we really knew the Lord wanted us there. Yes. And it also shifted my mind away from my preconceived ideas of who God is and how He works and putting Him in a box and saying, well, God, you have to work inside here. Yes. And because that's how I learned it in the end here, like this is God, Yes. where I started seeing miracles happen. I see people falling over. It's a very charismatic church, but it also just broke down those walls of like, I'm feeling uncomfortable here. Like this isn't right. People are laughing in church. How dare they laugh in church? How dare they have joy in church? You know, and seeing these things kind of like broke down those walls and kind of rebuilt that foundation in me.
Okay, who God really is.
And then ultimately joining this church during COVID and building a relationship with them, and the leadership always wanted to. They're like, Ryk, when are you getting baptized? We're like sending you all the verses to show you that you know it's fine to be baptized as an adult and stuff. In Afrikaans, it's jy weet kinderdoop of baba doop. Jy weet. That's kind of what I went through, and so my parents solidly believe, well, you're baptized already. Why are you doing it again?
Yes. You know?
But I feel like there's a difference in being baptized as a baby than choosing Jesus as an adult, and that was the big choice. And yeah, it's crazy. You know, everybody would speak in tongues. You know, when they get baptized at our church, and to me it was like speaking tongues. It's like. And so I remember the morning of me getting baptized, I'm like getting dressed, and I'm like telling my wife, what if I don't speak in tongues?
Yeah.
Like what? And the weird thing is, what happened was at the beginning of the sermon as well, they called us and asked us, why do we want to be baptized, or why are we here now? You know, and I felt this joy bubbling up that I started laughing.
Yes.
In front of the whole church. I'm like, this got this. And it's this involuntary laughing that's happening. And this joy. Got baptized, and they prayed over me. And again, out of that same bubbling, these noises started coming out. This random, to somebody else, it would just sound like babbling, you know. And for those that are religious, would think, man, this is some demonic stuff coming out of this person, you know. But there was this joy at speaking in tongues. It's not something I do too often, but I know it's from the Lord.
It's real.
You know?
I'm very interested in that, because that's not something that you did.
It's not something that came up. Like I said, the morning I was like stressed. Am I going to be able, you know,
to do
like,
it?
Is the Lord going to put that upon me? You know, am I going to? They're going to pray, you know, speak in tongues, and I'll be like, So
that's interesting, because you know there's this debate out there in the church and that, and you know you've got all these people kind of trying to teach you to speak in tongues. What you've gone through, you basically saying, would you now go and say, oh, that's all fake? Is it like black and white for you now? Like this is the real way. Those guys, the practicing tongues guys are off the rails. Or what is your opinion? Or do you think there's sort of leeway? Does God work sometimes differently with this gift, or where does that sit?
I solidly believe we have to be careful putting God in a box, saying this is the only way the Lord's going to give somebody the gift of tongues.
You know, you said your parents were praying, you saw your dad praying, but there was this relationship component missing with you and the Lord. How much can you, looking back, tie that now into, hey, but it's the exact same kind of mirror to what I had with my dad. There was this religious praying. I saw him doing it. He wasn't talking to me or sharing that with me, but maybe there was other things as well. And you had to go through that same thing with meeting the Lord. And actually, you know, it's interesting that you had to go away, you know, to go and experiencing him. So is there a thread of like finding the Lord identity and how your dad... You know, there was was there no relationship with your dad? Is basically what I'm asking. I guess
that's a very, very good question. I've always loved my dad. He was a very busy man. So he was always busy. He would try and get me to help him with work. I've got memories of him asking me to come help him with the tractor on the farm. You know, and I kind of didn't want to. My dad was so busy at times, trying to provide for us. Mom started a business with Homtini Rusks. My dad was kind of the driver, the delivery, and he did the marketing as he went. So he was on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And there were times that I joined him on the road.
Yes.
But the majority of the time was I would go to school in the morning, my dad would do his deliveries, I would come home, and in the evening my dad will be back, you know, and so there might be an hour. So that intimate relationship wasn't necessarily there, even though I did really love him and I saw how he provided and I saw a lot of things what it meant to be a man. That intimacy wasn't exactly there. And it could be a bit more of an Afrikaans culture thing where I had a more intimate relationship with my mom. You know, she was the one talking me through things that my dad maybe should have taken me through. Definitely there's correlation with that and my relationship with the Lord, because as a son, as a daughter, as a child, your first view you have of Jesus and of Father God is your own dad. So I definitely think there's a correlation when it comes to my relationship with my own dad and seeing Jesus. Thinking back, my dad was a very busy guy, so maybe I had this idea of God being, he's busy with his things, you know. At that time, I feel like I had my dad on a pedestal.
Yes.
That he was this person that, you know, he's got everything right. He knows what he's doing and he's got it under control. And only later I saw my dad making mistakes. When he made mistakes, it actually strengthened my relationship with him, because I realized he's also just a man trying to figure things out. He's also a man making mistakes and having to apologize.
Yes.
Seeing that in a dad made him human.
Yes.
He's not on that pedestal anymore, and a lot more relatable. He's not this unachievable, but he's this person that I can actually talk to because he's going through hard things as well.
Yes.
And I feel like we're all there, like maybe in different parts, but we're all just, I don't want to say boys, because there's a moment that we have to stand up and not be boys anymore, but we're all just men trying to figure things out.
Yes.
And some people have it more figured out than others, but ultimately we all are.
Fluctuates, right? Yeah. I have it, I don't have it. I have it, I don't have it. It's like this. Yeah. I relate a lot to this thing of not wanting to spend time with my dad. And I think it has to do with see him like this perfect guy that just works hard. If we were going to do something, it's always about the task. You know, it wasn't really like, hey, how are you doing? Or even when I want to help him, there was no patience really or anything. You know, I don't know if you had the same experiences.
Totally agree,
it was like, let's get this done, let's move. So my picture was like, I'm never going to get there where I can be consistent and stable and just make it about work. Yeah. So the consequence of that is that I really later in life, as I became an adult, and actually just stick to work. When it gets hard, then I'm like, this is too much, you know, because I can't reach that level. Is it similar? What you experienced, is there a different flavor to that, or
a little bit different? I saw my parents had a very strong work ethic, and I really respect that. And so it's kind of a motto in our house that the Eksteens never give up.
Yes.
So no matter what, we're not going to give up.
Your house now, or
currently? So teaching, we verbally say that now as a motto in
awesome,
my little kids. I want my sons to do hard things. I want them to know that we don't give up. Even when it's hard, we'll figure something out. Maybe even just take a break, reassess it, and we try and go for it in a different angle. That was given over from my folks, that they did not give up.
That's awesome.
Even in hard times, they did not give up. They had faith that the Lord will provide. A lot of that opened my eyes. But I agree with you.
Yes.
My dad had that, wanted to finish the task, didn't want to put in the time to necessarily teach. Like, why are we doing this? What is the end? What's the big picture here? You know, why does it work like this? Why not like that? You know, it's kind of my way or the highway. My dad, being a very good dad, compared to his own dad. I almost want to say, if I listen to the stories of my grandfather, his father, and him, they're kind of like a 180 degree. You know, that you either strive to become your father or you strive to be the opposite of your father. And my dad kind of proved the opposite. You know, he was a very good, loving father. But I think he also was struggling with the same things we're struggling with. How to be a good dad.
Yes.
There's still things his dad taught him that he's, for some reason, passing over to me without really thinking. It's just because his dad taught him that way.
Yes, yeah.
And I think in many ways, his dad, told him, right, let's go fix the tractor.
Yes.
Pass me that spanner, do that. And you have no idea, you're kind of in the sideline, you don't know why you're doing this.
Yes. Yeah.
Where if you can just explain to a child, hey, we're in this together, we have to fix this tractor so that we can do this, so that we can make money, so that we can, pay for schooling or pay for your new bicycle or your, something. It's not his fault necessarily, it's just how he kind of grew up,
Yes. What are you sort of doing now, this next generation? What are you applying? What do you find like, this is super important, I want to get this across? What's at the top of your list that you kind of think about a lot?
We're in a generation where we're allowing other people to raise our children. Somebody else can preach.
Yes.
Somebody else can go and teach. Somebody else can run your business for you. But there's nobody else that can father your children.
Yes. Yeah.
That is just you.
Yes.
And being intentional about it.
Yes.
Saying, well, by the time they're 18, they're leaving the house.
Yeah.
By the time they're 18, they have to be able to face the world with all its chaos, with all its depravity, unfairness.
Yes.
What can I put in place in my sons and my children that they're ready when they step out of the house?
Yes.
So it's kind of drawing a map out for them. It's kind of a scary thought thinking you only have, if it's the entire life, you only have 18 summers with your kids. You have only 18 winters with your kids. And obviously, the first, I only see my eldest son being now 6 years old, that he's now starting to click things. I've only got 12 years to have these things. 12 summers, 12 winters. It's crazy to think, hey, I'll go camping with them, once a summer.
Yeah.
It's only 12 camps. Well, what's going on? So you have to be intentional of what you want to impart with them. What should they be ready when they step out of the house one day? And having a strong foundation. So, having those values instilled in them, faith, respect, honesty, from a young age, those are things that you can teach them many lessons, and they're going to leave home, forget a lot of those lessons. But if those foundations are strong, that is kind of where you want to be. And that's kind of the core message, is you want to instill something that won't depart from them.
The input for behaviors are values. So if you teach values, the outcome's going to be behaviors. At
their young age, they're not in a place to necessarily you go and tell them, okay, we do this because of that. Also, they're in a moment of looking at you.
Yes.
And they're like, what's dad doing? How is he treating other people? How is he treating himself?
Yes.
Is he respecting his own body? Is he exercising? Is he praying? Is he reading the word? How is he treating people on the street? How is he treating people of different races? All of these things together, that's their first input.
Yes.
And later when they're around 10, 11, 12, that age, that's when you can start putting them down and saying, right, this is why we do this. And you can try now, but it's not sticking there.
Yeah. My boy is 5. He just wants to do everything that I do, So, and I think it's a fun time. And in some ways it feels like I'm always growing more with him than really my daughter. Like when he goes to the next level, I have to up my game.
Yeah.
John Aldridge, he talks about these different phases. There's like the boy. Yeah. And then it goes to the warrior. No, sorry, it's the cowboy, where they sort of start doing things like wildly. There's like just
no order in it.
No order. They're just trying stuff. So that's when they jump off stuff and they make things and they burn stuff. Or, and then it goes to the warrior, where you learn to fight. Where it's like around 18, 19, you're learning to fight and push against the world and who you are. And that's also, just coming out of the phase of being the cowboy with your dad, knowing like, okay, this is what it is to be a man, and this is my identity in God. You also push against your peers there. Then you come out, now you got to go fight, And the thing that he actually says, you're learning to fight for your wife there, you know, in that period. And then you get married.
Yeah.
But you learn to fight to make money and provide. And then you become a king. You know, then you become like, you've got a household and you're ruling your household. And then later, that's maybe like, I don't know, when you're like 40 onwards or 50 onwards, you become like a sage or like a priest or whatever, you know.
The wise man.
Yeah, and he says like, if you miss some of those phases, you're going to have to go back or you get stuck there, you know. And so what I found is like, I actually like skipped the cowboy phase a little bit, you know. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of the younger men, is that they don't have support, they don't have a father. They end up just playing games, like from like whatever 10, that cowboy phase, being completely consumed till like 18 or whatever. Now they got to go work, and then they don't know where to start, where to go, you know. And that's why women's like, there's no more men, right? So what sort of like activities in this phase of them playing and learning and them looking at you, what are the things that you think is like, this is very important, I need to get these things right, stuff that you maybe were always struggling with?
The biggest thing for me at the moment is distraction. It's so easy to put a cell phone with a story or a game in front of the kids so that you're not bothered.
Yes.
Doesn't take much time to just be in the moment. Put away those devices. And I think growing up, I used gaming as kind of an escape because my parents were so busy working. The thing with gaming is there's that false feeling of achievement. It gives you the same dopamine injection than going and building a raft and getting it on the water and being like, whoa, this thing floats, you know. I feel the world is filled with distractions now. Obviously there's times that we as fathers need to work, we need to provide for our family. In those moments, our children will see us and be like, well, I'm going to be like dad one day, I'm going to work hard. There's nothing wrong with that. But being present when work ends, that's the tough. Biggest thing. Like we all fail with that. There's moments that, you know, I come from work, I'm tired, I just don't have the energy to deal with crying kids or. But I think as husbands, we need to be able to finish work, put our heads down, pray, Lord, please help me transition now from, like, let me forget my work worries. Let me leave this at work, you know, and switch over to dad mode or husband mode. So truly being present is the most important one, I'd say.
Being passive, that's something that I think for me, I realize is just the time waste, you know. And if the systems can just keep men like just suppressed and not acting, right? Because I always find it's like when I was working through these things, take action, you know, just do something. And it takes so little. I always come to this where it's like, my boy just wants me to go for a little walk. It's simple. And then when I do it, it does help me to get out of it, you know. So you and your wife, what was the impact? How did it change over since you became a believer, realized these things? Because for me, it was a massive like shift of growth. And like you said, that your wife was leading the spiritual journey. My wife, she even went to the point where she didn't care about the spiritual stuff because I was giving the spiritual stuff, but I wasn't doing anything. So she was like kind of, hey, show me, right? So is there a similar dynamic where she was kind of like, man up, you know, like where are we going? What's going on? And how did that affect your household, you know?
I think it was a bit of the opposite. I was more on the other side of things. I was doing things. I wanted to fix the issues. I wanted to, you know, she would come with problems and I would be like, this is how we fix it. Practically minded, these are the solutions, and none of the spiritual side of things. Once I stepped into my role as leader, preacher, teacher of the house, those things did change. I slowly realized, well, what's the important part of my life here now? What is the season that the Lord's put me in right now? And it's to be a father and a husband. That's where my majority of my energy should be going towards. Obviously, we need to provide as well. I kind of see that as secondary. God first, family, loving those around us, and then it's my work. Even though we need to work, it's important for us to work. And when I realized what my role is, I had to start studying like what it means to be a man. what is our job? How can I be the best father I can be?
Yeah.
How can I be the best husband I can be? And still making a lot of mistakes, learning through it. Reading books, reading the Word, being with other godly men. That's a huge one. Back in the day when I was very into my self-help books, it's just like you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself. And I carried that over towards the faith side as well. Is if you surround yourself with godly men, you're going to be a godly man.
Yeah.
And so I've got a great group of friends here. I'm proud to call brothers, brothers in arms, brothers in Christ. And they're also keeping me in a way accountable, pushing me to know why I do things. So they would ask me questions because they're soon to be dads, and I'm now a dad of 3. Why do I do certain things where I have to sit and think, wait, why do I do that?
Yeah.
And having a strong foundation in why you do things helps you be in a spot of teaching as well, helping your friends, helping other fathers, and then ultimately being a better dad out of it because you know why you're doing this. It's kind of like teaching is the best way of learning.
Yes.
That kind of shifted everything, and I started learning, okay, this is my responsibility as the leader of the house. I should be doing these things. It's an ongoing process.
Yes. Okay, so Airsoft.
Yeah.
How did it come about? Because you weren't doing this when 3 years ago.
No.
And I mean, is this like a sort of from the games, a shift over, or how did that happen? Because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I've always I wanted to join the military.
Okay.
From a young age, I was the boy with the camo bed sheets and everything at camo. My little army men. I was always towards that side of things. Obviously, South African military is nothing to be boasting about. So never. My dad was part of the military, so I heard all those stories.
Yes.
And then I had friends that wanted to join like the British Special Forces and following them, and wow. This is, that's where you learn respect and leadership and responsibility and things like that and taking accountability. And I just realized there's no such thing here, really. You can go to the military, but it's not what you think. Yeah. Then got invited to a friend's birthday doing Airsoft in PE. Had a lot of fun to a point where I drove back with a friend of ours, Scott, and I said, man, I want to start something similar, And Scott would tell you a story now. It's like, it'll happen, but there's not really anything that's gonna happen. It's like it's a cool dream. Let's see. We'll see where it goes. And then a few months later, I messaged him, hey, I bought my first Airsoft gun. Yes. But I had nobody to play with. So I had this really cool gun, and I was like shooting, and I joined a few games in George. I was like, no, I wanna do my own one, and so I needed friends to play with me. So I ended up buying a whole bunch of guns to rent out, and I connected with Dimitri from Dimitri's Paintball up at Barrington. We grew up playing paintball there. Yes. He knows me from being a little chokaki, And so I contacted him asking, hey, would you be open to me renting the field from you? Yes. And we do Airsoft. Yes. You still do your paintball, and I'll organize days ahead of time and book those days. And it's an amazing field. It's the only field here in the Garden Route that has a house. Yes. It's got a forest. It's got an open field. So whatever game or play style you have, you can be a sniper, you can be up close. Really, any play style you want to be, you can do it. So a very unique field here in the Garden Route. The whole reason I kind of started it was I wanted that military feel, but also that respect, that discipline. Because at the end of the day, with airsoft guns, same rules apply as real firearms. Do not start pointing at anybody. Don't point at somebody unless you're willing to, destroy it. So a lot of those rules apply still, but in a safer environment. This is now drawing men, drawing children into an environment that's safe, but also very, I want to say, primal in a way. That's cool. Is active. There's leadership. There's cause and effect. There's so many different aspects that comes to play. What I'm very proud of our field, we kind of crush ego quite quickly. Okay. Obviously, you want to be the action hero
Yes.
in the sport. But
Yes.
the games that's the most fun is when you're working as a team, not as a Rambo going in
Yes.
and getting shot and now you're upset. And because we get characters like that
Yes.
come in,
Sure.
guns blazing, they get shot, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to call my hit. For those that don't know, it's a very honor-based game, so there's no proof that you got hit.
Okay.
You have to be honest, and
you kind of just like quickly go around the corner and
I've got so much video footage of like people getting shot because I play with a little GoPro, a little DJI action camera, and where the guy gets shot in the knee, you can just see the knee like moving out of the way, and then it comes back, and then you shoot it again. So
because they have to stop and go out or whatever.
There's different game modes. So ultimately, like if you get shot, most of the time it's a respawn. So you just have to go back to base and come back again.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. No, but I think obviously you've gotten yourself in a good position, and now you get shot, and But that's again part of the experience of learning about it. When to push, when to stay back. A lot of decision making goes into it, and ultimately. Also a selflessness. Something I remember when I organized my first tournament last year.
Yeah.
I've said, okay, we're going to create a team, a Satchfield team here, and it's the best players that I knew here. And this brother of mine, he said, why do you want to, make the best team? We're supposed to, make it fun for other people as well. We shouldn't be going into just win, And I'm like, dang, why do you have to be so wise, And it's true, and you're there. As somebody who plays a lot or a leader in that, your job is actually to make it fun for someone else. Here comes a kid and he gets the hit on you. You want to be cool and turn around and shoot him back. Just give it to him. Like you can just go respawn. So there's a lot of selflessness that comes to it, and I've seen a lot of people grow. Yes. I've seen young guys that come in with an ego, like I'm not going to play anymore because this person's to a point where they're like, it's part of the game, and they're actually helping little kids. One guy, when he just started, like he was shooting the kids like crazy, like that just, and then we got some pictures where he's like helping another kid, with the flag, and it's like showing him go that way, So there's really growth happening on the fields, and we try to not welcome the people who bring that toxicity. We want to make it a safe place for men to be men.
Yes,
but without that misuse of power.
So when you set up a game, do you structure anything? Do you give a bit of presentation at all, or is it just like, okay, we're going to get going, or do you pray? In terms of ministry, unofficial ministry.
We can go in saying, okay, everybody, let's pray. This is why we're doing it. This is the Lord, so on. And I realized, no, that's not the right way to go about it. These people, most of the time, look at you as a character. They just want to see you be true to yourself. And I feel like that is ministry in its own way. You don't have to be openly saying, with your signs and say, Jesus saves, repent, most of the time it's you being yourself will draw those people, and people will see that light that's inside you. And that will open opportunity for you to either minister, pray into their lives, or...
Have you had sort of situations like that?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing I've seen was... We do Saturday games and we do Sunday games. And the Sunday games, I'm usually late because we go to church first. People would come up to me and say, hey, why are you late? It's like, no, I was at church. Here at like the third Sunday game, it's like, okay, so what church do you go to? And it starts opening doors, and like to a point where you start learning what's their walk in the Lord.
Yes.
Like, oh, they're not believers. Okay, let's continue the conversation. Why aren't you believers? But it has to come from a side of friendship first. Yes. You can't be a total stranger. And
it's like you say, now he sees you play the game consistently weekend after weekend.
Seeing that you're not getting upset when you get shot, or how you deal with unfairness, or somebody's not calling their shots. Are you how are you dealing with that? Are you friendly with the people? It's a big part. People look at that same as children, and be like, wow, I want more of that. I want to grow this adventure sport. I don't want to just have it stop at Airsoft. I want to take it much further. Archery, axe throwing. For the younger crowd, gel blasters, Nerf guns, that kind of thing. Really that primal side of kids going crazy, shooting each other, but in safe places with rules in place, structure. But ultimately growing towards not the men that we see on television or on movies, but biblical masculinity. I do feel masculinity has been corrupted over the years. God has given men power, and men have abused it either in business or in their homes, in the bedroom. I think it's time for men to stand up again. I mentioned with the Airsoft is not affirming these bad behaviors of men, calling them masculine, but meanwhile they're the corrupted side of things. It's for us as biblical men now to stand up and correct those men, help them, not burning the bridges but to be the example.
Yes.
We as biblical men, we tend to stand back and have life happen. Where I think it's time for us to start doing something about it. And I feel like there's a calling upon every man for a different job. Like I mentioned, we got prophesied over, and it would be young men, fathers, families. And so I'm hoping to push this more towards that. Ultimately, looking to the near future to start kind of a father-son camps, going back to the basics of things, where kids can throw rocks, be rough, learn how to do hard things to a point where screens will not be allowed. It's the biggest thing is to create the opportunity for fathers to be intentional. Learning things like making fire without, matches or a lighter, setting up camp, building shelters, really roughing it, going through challenges together, incorporating the airsoft and the combat sports side of things as well would be super fun. But ultimately, it also just structured and the core of it is Father God. And how He teaches us to be better fathers, how He teaches us to be better men. And there's so many sons without fathers here that it's also opportunity for them.
So if I were to ask you, what is a man for you, like in one sentence or one word, or like say one word, what would it be?
One word. That's a difficult one.
I know it's seasonal, like maybe as well, right? But what is that you think is like the core thing?
It's not exactly one word, but I would say image bearer of God. With that comes a lot of different things, because we're representing God in a way. Not that He needs to be represented, but He made us in His image for a reason. But it comes with a lot of those things as well that we'll read throughout the Word.
Image bearer. That's a good one.
Image bearer.
That's awesome.
But I think if it goes further into a sentence, I recently read through The Intentional Father, and he kind of mentions that it's, image bearer, son of God. Can I read it?
Yeah. Go for it.
We learn from other men, and this view might change, but I feel like this sums it up really well. This is from John Tyson's book, The Intentional Father. He says, a man is an image bearer and a son of God, entrusted with power and the responsibility to create, cultivate, care, and defend for God's glory and the good of others. For the time being, I'm standing with that.
That's awesome. What does God say to you when you're alone with Him? What does He tell you? Who are you? Like, is there something that He always sort of says to you about you or not?
That's a good question, because I feel a lot of people have an identity issue these days. And when God tells you who you are, there's no doubting your identity. Warrior and prince. Our identity is in Him. We are His children. We are heirs of Christ and the kingdom. With that, we are royalty, servants. We are here to serve on earth. We're here to be selfless.
That's awesome. Thanks for being on the very first podcast.
Yeah.
On Redcub.
It's a great honor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Lekker man.